Learning with an AI tutor is a remarkably frictionless experience. Ask a question, and a perfect answer appears, creating an intoxicating feeling of absolute comprehension. However, data from 2025 and 2026 reveals a paradox. Students using these tools saw their practice scores soar, yet when the AI was removed for the actual exam, that progress vanished. This happens because of metacognitive laziness. A flawlessly fluent AI answer removes the difficulty signal that would normally prompt you to check your own understanding. Without that struggle, passive acceptance quietly replaces active verification. A convincing explanation is evidence of the AI's capability, not yours. If the process is completely smooth, you are likely experiencing a dangerous illusion of mastery. It is instinctive to picture yourself on one side of a screen and the AI on the other, two separate entities exchanging information. ODTOE theory suggests a different model. The moment a study session begins, the human and the machine merge into a single unit of analysis, the learning dyad. This merger is driven by a tight feedback loop. Every question you ask reshapes the machine's next explanation, and every explanation reshapes your next question. You behave as a single coupled observer of the material. When a learner fails an exam, it is this combined dyad that has failed. The system was coherent, but its competence was held entirely by the machine rather than being shared by the human. The objective of any AI study session is to restructure this coupled system so that the human half can function alone, surviving the eventual removal of the machine. Effective learning occurs within a narrow band of difficulty. Push too hard and the learner is overwhelmed. Make it too easy and the learner is bored. The sweet spot is an interior optimum in the middle. This band is defined by Vygotsky's zone of proximal development, the boundary between what you can do with help and what you can do entirely alone. This projected table, titled Happiness in Everyday Life, displays data on flow conditions. It highlights Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi's concept of flow, a state achieved when the external challenge perfectly matches your internal skill level. A common failure mode in AI tutoring is the zone of no development. This occurs when an AI provides constant, unending assistance, essentially replacing the cognitive struggle required to build a skill. An effective AI tutor constantly steers the dyad into the precise overlap of proximal development and flow, maintaining the friction necessary for growth. ODTOE measures the integrity of this dyad using the coherence formula. It depends on 4 factors: form, energy, doubt, and lambda. F stands for form. The AI's explanation must fit how you actually represent ideas. A mismatched analogy scores low. E represents energy. This is the attention and effort you bring to the screen. Exhausted learners have a low E value. 1 minus sigma represents doubt. Learning requires honest, calibrated uncertainty rather than blind trust or total skepticism. Finally, lambda is data quality, the baseline requirement that the AI is actually telling the truth. Because this formula is a mathematical product, it has a weak link property. If any single factor drops to 0, it collapses the entire system. A flawless explanation of a wrong fact teaches nothing. When learning stalls, the solution isn't necessarily to work harder. It is to hunt for the specific link that has zeroed out. The ultimate target for the dyad is to reach a fixed point of competence, known as psi star. A fixed point is a skill that reproduces itself. Once you reach it, you can perform the task without any external help, and that performance reinforces the skill for the next time. Reaching this point requires you to take the wheel. You must drive the planning and reflection of your own learning, while the AI acts as a co-regulator within your loop. This is achieved through productive friction. A good AI tutor will withhold solutions, deliver graded hints, and demand that you explain the answer back in your own words. Friction in an AI interaction is not a bug or a failure. It is the fundamental mechanism required to internalize knowledge. Never judge a study session by how confident it felt. That feeling is often just a byproduct of the AI's fluency, not your own growth. To find the truth, you must look at the mastery gap, the distance between what you can do with the AI, on your screen, and what you can do without it. You shrink this gap by closing the loop. After a session, turn off the AI and attempt the problem from scratch on a blank page. That unaided result is your real coordinate. Protect the integrity of the dyad by asking the AI what it is unsure about. This maintains honest doubt and keeps the data quality transparent. Learning with AI is a systemic partnership. Success comes from keeping the difficulty high, keeping your hands on the wheel, and trusting the cold reality of the mastery gap over the warm feeling of fluency.